Russia's shadow fleet will come under new European Union sanctions, and this could deal yet another blow to Moscow's finances. The European Union plans to include vessels from Russia's so-called shadow fleet in its 20th package of sanctions against the Russian Federation, which is expected to be approved as early as February 24th. This move is aimed at effectively obstructing semi-legal oil tankers and clandestine raider-style schemes that allow the Kremlin to continue exporting oil and generating vital state revenue despite current international trade restrictions. And this could seriously complicate efforts to circumvent Western sanctions around the world. And now, more details in our report. You're watching the Glavred channel. I'm your host, Yevgeny Serov. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. The Shadow Fleet is a collection of hundreds of tankers and cargo ships used to transport Russian oil in circumvention of EU and other countries' sanctions. Such vessels typically operate under the flags of third countries, conceal their true ownership, and participate in complex schemes to move oil across borders, often without the transparency recorded by tracking systems. Based on reports provided by Ukrainian intelligence, more than 60% of all Rosneft's maritime shipments were carried out via this shadow fleet, making it a vital component in the economic mechanism, fueling Moscow's war economy. Blocking the shadow fleet in the new sanctions package will mean that these vessels will come under strict restrictions from the European Union. They will be banned from entering European ports, have their access to insurance and maintenance services restricted, and authorities will be granted the right to inspect them at sea and impose additional prohibitions. Previously, the European Union had already imposed sanctions on dozens and even hundreds of such vessels. In the 19th package, more than 118 tankers were added to the sanctions list, and the total number of all identified Shadow Fleet vessels in the EU sanctions lists was approaching 600 units. The French Minister for Europe and Foreign Affairs, Jean-Noël Barrot, explicitly stated that the new package was meant to be especially tough on Russia's shadow fleet of oil tankers, and that Russia's actions, including numerous strikes on Ukraine's civilian and energy infrastructure, clearly demonstrate that Moscow is not yet ready to pursue peace in good faith. That is why the EU wants to tighten restrictions not only on individual vessels, but also on entire networks of companies and participants that help this fleet circumvent sanctions. Such measures are aimed at reducing Russia's revenues from oil exports, which make up a significant portion of the country's budget and finance military operations. Previously, the EU imposed sanctions not only against the vessels themselves, but also against companies and individuals who support the operation of the Shadow Fleet. The new package of sanctions, scheduled for approval in February, will be further proof that Western countries continue to seek ways to economically and politically isolate Russia for its military actions in Ukraine. And if these comprehensive international measures are agreed upon, the clandestine Shadow Fleet could come under the most sustained and severe pressure from the global international community and maritime regulators in its entire history.